The final trailer for Stranger Things 5 finally dropped, and if you slow it down, you'll catch a bunch of details that fly by at regular speed. We're about to break down Vecna's actual plan for Will, how Eleven's abilities have leveled up, moments that hint at someone major dying, and so much more. So be sure to subscribe, and let's get into it. So right at the start, we have a huge moment. Vecna's speaking while a Demogorgon bows to him, like a slave serving its master. This proves there's a clear hierarchy to the Upside Down's forces, and Vecna's running everything. Nothing is a coincidence. He's not just wandering around being creepy. He's giving orders, and some of the most powerful monsters follow his wishes. This explains why gates start opening all over town later, while soldiers get attacked from every direction. The danger isn't getting smaller or more controlled, it's spreading in a coordinated way, led by a smart and powerful foe. The Hawkins Library keeps showing up, specifically the upside-down version of it. When you pause on the wider shots, you can see a tight perimeter around the building with another fence beyond that. There are bunks set up and even a helipad nearby. This isn't just a destroyed building anymore, it's an active military base. The government is treating it like the main doorway between worlds. Previous rifts all led back to this spot, which is why they've decided to defend this particular block. The issue is that the Upside Down isn't just one opening anymore. It's multiple breaches that keep moving around. You can't stop that with walls and checkpoints, which we see when the soldiers come under attack and seem to fold almost immediately. The music choice tells you something big too. They picked Who Wants to Live Forever by Queen. And that's not random. When you match up the lyrics with the faces they're showing, it feels like the show is warning us someone important is going to die, which is something rumors have been setting up for a long time now. It'll probably be someone who's been here since the beginning, meaning it'll absolutely destroy our hearts. The way they sync up the chorus with certain characters is deliberate. The marketing team is basically telling you to prepare yourself, but they're also trying to throw us off. Overly emotional scenes with some characters like Steve is a false lead. It'll almost certainly be someone we haven't seen in danger in the trailer just yet. Throughout the beginning of the trailer, we can see that Dustin's going through something pretty rough. He's riding his bike alone wearing his Hellfire shirt, and later you can see that his collar is torn, he's got bruises, and there's even some blood. He's not just being a sarcastic joker anymore. He's genuinely angry and dealing with real violence. The most likely reason for the beatings he's gotten is that he's defending Eddie's memory, while the town still thinks Eddie was a sadistic murderer. This sets him up as someone who's actively fighting back, instead of just making jokes. It also explains that moment where he's crying on Steve's shoulder later. That's not coming out of nowhere. They're building to something real painful. There's a strong possibility he gets attacked near Eddie's grave by whoever replaced Jason's group as the town bullies. The WSQK radio station is important in multiple ways. Mike and Eleven use the roof to talk privately, which shows the kids are planning things without telling the adults or military. Later, you can see smoke and damage around the tower, which suggests someone destroyed it on purpose. Cutting the tower would cripple the party's communications, which alone makes it a smart target for Vecna to take off the board. Now we have to talk about the tunnels. There's a tunnel that looks too clean to be a natural crack in the ground, and the kids have a paper map marking different spots around town. This suggests someone built a route underground that's currently blocked off by the military. It most likely connects the radio station to a church entrance that's labeled on their map as tunnel access. Basically, the group has figured out a way to move around without running into checkpoints when the central zone is locked down. That could be vital to them defending the world against Vecna, working their way behind enemy lines through a method they'd never expect. Moving on to 11, powers look different now. When she jumps off the rooftop, it's not just a normal jump. It's a controlled launch where she hangs in the air longer than we've ever seen, almost like something out of Star Wars. Later on in the trailer, there's a shockwave that explodes over the upside-down lab, and the color changes from red to blue. The interpretation the trailer wants us to take is that she's sealing or purging something, not just pushing it away like usual. If she can change the energy of an entire space, she can close a gate permanently, instead of just holding it temporarily. That's the only way the final season can actually end this. Another interpretation is that it's just another misdirection, which could actually mean something bad is happening rather than good. The color change from red to blue could easily mean something sinister, and Hopper looking around confused might not be because he's surprised by Eleven's powers. It might mean Vecna's ended her for good. There's also more happening in that scene than some viewers notice. Hopper's there with Eleven inside an upside-down facility, and behind them, you can see a radome. That's military equipment, which confirms someone actually built technology on the other side. They didn't just put up barriers around Hawkins to contain the threat. Somebody actually set up a research base inside the Upside Down itself. That's either incredibly bold or incredibly stupid. Given how many demo dogs are running around there, I'm going with stupid. Joyce and Will have some concerning moments. If you freeze on the bunker shot where Mike is looking up, you can spot Will in the background, and he looks absolutely terrible, not even able to walk by himself. Later, Vecna says directly to him, "William, you're going to help me one last time."
You are going to help me one last time.
That's personal and specific. The best way to take this is that Vecna chose Will from the very beginning, maintained that connection through Season 2, and now needs him for something important. He's the key to unleashing Vecna's true power against humanity. He's not a random victim. He's a tool Vecna has been preparing. almost like goods placed in a vault, waiting to be reopened. The final battle isn't just going to be a straight fight. It's going to be about controlling Will's body and mind. Nancy's storyline looks brutal. We see her crying and washing blood off her hands in a hospital sink. That hospital is marked on the kid's Day of Disaster map in the inner zone. Later, a demo dog runs into an elevator there while Lucas is dragging Max. We also see Karen and Holly completely soaked, crawling across the Wheeler kitchen floor after hiding in the bathtub. This may point to an attack on the Wheeler house that leads to the hospital situation. If Karen gets hurt during that attack and Nancy finds her at the hospital, that would explain the sink scene, and might even pack in a tragic death. Either way, Nancy isn't staying on the sidelines. Later, she's firing an assault rifle in a courtyard, looking like a total badass, while soldiers are struggling around her. Lucas and Max have a clear arc across several quick shots. Lucas faces a full Demogorgon in a tunnel under red lighting. Then he's pulling Max down a hospital hallway with a demo dog chasing them. We can see that he's carrying a boombox, so he's probably trying to use music again to reach Max and keep her sane, while the demo demons hunt them. This means she's still stuck in her coma, and he's putting her safety above his own. We also need to make a quick note on Erica. She's at Hawkins Middle School, looking calm and focused. There's speculation she's quietly helping the group from outside the inner zone, running errands or relaying intel while the others are blocked by checkpoints. Even if you skip over the rumors, her being in a normal area while the inner zone is under military control tells you she can move more freely than the rest. Her appearing for just a tiny moment in the trailer might also tell us that she'll be the ace hidden up the group's sleeve, which is why they're only teasing her. There's an important rooftop scene where rocks are floating, red lightning is striking, and someone falls. When you slow it down, the fall almost looks like they're getting pulled into Dimension X, the raw space that Henry originally discovered. What this could mean for Hawkins is that gravity can stop working in certain spots once Vecna's power is fully unleashed. You don't have to walk into a basement to disappear anymore. A street can open up from above. That's why people are panicking even outside the military fence, struggling to stay alive. The car and communication setup shows some smart planning. Steve's driving with a long antenna attached to the van, Dustin's wearing a ghillie hood and looking up at the sky, and Bradley's Big Buy food truck is parked near Robin and Murray by the station. The setup looks like a mobile comms and extraction plan to coordinate above-ground and below-ground teams. Later, a gate opens near that truck and something crawls out, which means their escape plan becomes a rescue mission instead. There's a whole lot going on, so let's take a second to recap where we are so far. Vecna's commanding everything from the top, with an army of demons serving him. The library is the active center point of the entire group's operations. The government built a base inside the Upside Down and likely caused even more chaos. 11 is shifting from pushing things to actually sealing spaces and possibly ending Vecna forever. Dustin starts out beaten up but defiant and eventually a hero. Nancy gets pulled into a hospital crisis involving blood, then goes full combat mode like a female Rambo. Lucas is trying to save Max using music as a vital anchor. Erica is likely helping from the school as a major backup player. The military's plan falls apart once the ground starts opening everywhere, since they underestimated Vecna's strength. Alright, now back to the craziness. We need to talk about Jonathan. He appears in group scenes, disappears for a while, then there's a forehead-to-forehead moment with Nancy, followed by Nancy at the sink with blood. One order of events puts his danger in the middle of the season rather than the end, which would force everyone into action and push Nancy into full offensive mode. Another way to look at it is that the blood isn't his, but belongs to Karen instead, since we see Holly and Karen drenched after hiding in the bathtub. What about Dr. K, the character Linda Hamilton is playing? She's not just giving orders from a safe distance. There's a shot of her firing a weapon inside the inner zone. This matters because it lets her switch from being an obstacle to being an ally quickly if kids and soldiers are getting killed together by a sole enemy. There are hints that the government's involving other kids, which could be anything from protection to something more experimental, and it connects to those bunker glimpses with kids being kept separate from the chaos. If gates are opening everywhere and options are running out, people reach for extreme plans. We shouldn't overlook the map scene. Mike has Dungeons & Dragons miniatures on a picnic table layout labeled Day of Disaster. The library grid is in the center, and there's a church marked as a tunnel entrance. This isn't nostalgia for nostalgia's sake, it's a shared planning language they can use under pressure. Radios will stop working, panic will spread, and the game board gives them a simple way to stay coordinated. 11 pushes back on the idea of planning the ending in advance, but using game logic to coordinate makes sense when every other system is failing. Also, the two-headed miniature looks like the same piece Mike used when he named the Demogorgon back in 1983, which brings things full circle to how this group started. Vecna's appearance has changed a whole lot. His body looks like it's been entirely rebuilt and feels heavier. He lost most of what was human when he fell and burned, and now he's more integrated with the Upside Down itself. In practical terms, this means old tactics like using fire will be ineffective, since we see him absolutely tank a flame attack. Exactly how the crew will manage to defeat this upgraded version of Vecna is a mystery, but it almost certainly will need to begin by thinning out his army of demo demons before they can attack the King of the Chaos himself. Let's walk through the inner zone battle. Soldiers are holding the library courtyard when the asphalt opens in multiple places. Creatures pour out from everywhere, gunfire all around. Their plan assumed one breach point, but Vecna adapted. He's creating new openings right under their feet and changing his tactics on the fly. This signals a crazy level of strength, which even the US military can't manage to stop alone. That's why you see the tower get hit, gates in the street, and the containment grid collapsing within seconds. Static defense against a dynamic enemy is a clear and painful mistake. Watch out for Mike when Joyce is near Will. He's not in confident leader mode. He's in shock, like someone caught completely off guard. That tells you Mike's first plan has already failed by the time we see that scene. He's not placing pieces on a game board anymore. He's reacting to things falling apart. There's a quick shot of crosses in a destroyed cemetery as 11 moves through it. The point probably isn't shock value, it's location tracking. The cemetery might be a visual clue you're near the church entrance from the map. With the ground cracking and splitting, it's the landmark that tells you that you're close to the right access point. Here's what you can take away from all of this. The library is the active center. The radio station is the communication hub. The tunnels are the secret routes. The hospital is where people go for safety, but it turns into a war zone. The government tried to build a lab on the wrong side, and it backfired on them. 11's power level looks high enough to seal spaces permanently, not just push monsters back temporarily. Vecna doesn't just want Will nearby. He needs Will as a key component to his plans against Hawkins. Dustin starts hurt but stubborn and will become a major heroic figure by the end of the season. Nancy gets pulled into a family and hospital crisis, possibly experiences utter heartbreak, then switches to offense and takes combat to the enemy rather than waiting in the shadows. Lucas uses the one method that's worked before to reach Max. Robin and Murray keep the escape routes open, and that red to blue wave might be the only endgame strategy that actually works permanently to seal away Vecna's forces, if that's even what's happening. If you slow down the clips and connect the details, the final season is built around one core idea: close the gateway or get absorbed by it. The kids rely on the thing that built their friendship to plan something bigger than themselves. The government fights a problem it doesn't understand. Vecna plays a long game through one kid he marked from the very first day, and has come back with upgrades to try and conquer reality. The simple way to put it is this: the final fight isn't about who hits harder, it's about who controls the doors to the Upside Down by the end of the show. Do you think Will ends the season as himself, or does he have to sacrifice something to close that door permanently? Will 11 save the group, or will she be the main tragic victim of the season? Let us know in the comments below. And if you want to see more Stranger Things content and theories, click the video on screen now.